Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Aging with Attitude, servicing the greater Charlotte metro market region. This is Channel 21. My name is Phil Koch. I'm the host of the show. We really appreciate you tuning in. And tonight we have Nate Huggins with Blessed Adult Care, Blessed Assurance Adult Daycare.
Correct.
Here in the Charlotte area, but really more in the
Matthews area,
right?
Matthews Mint Hill area, to be exact.
Well, welcome back to the show. I know you've been on a few times.
Yes, I have, and I've enjoyed it each time.
Yeah. Why don't you maybe start off by telling us what exactly adult daycare is and who it serves?
Okay. The adult daycare is actually a daytime program designed to serve those adults who in many cases are disabled, non-ambulatory, who need to be supervised during the day, have their life-sustaining needs met. And consequently, it operates strictly during the day, typically Monday through Fridays. Our program operates from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And again, our target population is not just those adults who may be afflicted with Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, cerebral palsy, Alzheimer's, and those other diseases of the aging, but more specifically, the caregivers who oftentimes stress trying to maintain employment, maintain a household, and likewise, we want to give those guys a break from full-time caregiving.
Right.
So again, if we can simply provide that great service to not only the participants themselves, but also the caregivers, we felt we've helped the community.
Yes. And I think that's, you immediately hit upon a major element for the viewers, both the families and people that we all care for in this industry, and that is the family members that are caregivers oftentimes, and they do need that break. And this gives a great opportunity for them to get a little bit of time off and to run errands and take a break.
Absolutely. We've also found that in most cases, we are talking about two-wage household earners. And if mother or father or the person who needs care doesn't have that place to go during the day to simply get those needs met, then typically one of those employed personnel would have to simply quit their jobs. So now we've empowered these people to keep their jobs, likewise remain those two-wage earner households, and most importantly, those guys are able to maintain their quality of life that they've enjoyed, and mom and dad is able to come back to their own homes, own beds at night, and be within the family unit. So again, promoting the wholeness of the family unit is a great thing.
Yes, yes. And at your particular center, how many people is the max you could do?
Our maximum capacity as licensed by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is 98. We've been very fortunate and very blessed over the years. Right now, we have about 75 people assigned.
Wow.
Not all of them come every day. We average about 50 per day. But the good thing about it, these guys are not home alone at risk of simply getting injured or even in some cases dying.
Right.
Good example, someone who has brittle diabetes must have that blood sugar check on a routine basis. If that person was not at our program where we have two nurses, one is a registered nurse, one's a licensed practical nurse. If that individual wasn't with us and having their blood sugar checked, their diet-specific meals rendered several times a day, then at home, that person would suddenly go into a diabetic coma, be rushed to the hospital, in some cases simply die at home.
Yeah.
So again, we're filling a void in the continuum of care, if you will, and likewise helping that caregiver maintain the lifestyle that they want maintained for their mom, dad, and other individuals who are disabled.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, oftentimes you hear about seniors that are living at home isolated, not being able to, they take the wrong medications or the wrong dosages, or oftentimes, when I was in the home care business for years, they'll eat expired food, which could make them sick.
Absolutely.
And that's not the case if they come in to your place.
Absolutely, it's not. We are very fortunate, again, we have a number of people with various diets, diabetic diets, cardiac-specific diets, pureed diets, low-salt diets, and we're able to provide them with the proper diet, be it breakfast, full lunch, of course, and an evening snack. Not only get them the proper diet, but make sure that, again, their health is being maintained.
Right.
Our nurses are required to monitor their well-being both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Conduct weights, conduct vital signs, monitor blood pressures, all that good stuff. Keep charts and records as to what occurs on a daily basis. Keep the caregivers informed, as well as engage physicians to make sure that proper medications are being administered and prescribed too. So again, having a health component in the adult day program, having these good people see a healthcare professional each day versus when there's a crisis, again, limits, and in many cases, exterminates the need to simply go to a hospital, go to a doctor on a regular basis because, again, they're being seen every day by a healthcare professional.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, they have the social interaction with other members of similar age groups.
That is a biggie.
Yeah.
A lot of our good people I've met, they were, quote unquote, isolated at home, as you earlier mentioned. Many caregivers had to simply work. They left the loved ones at home, sometimes with a young child, other times by themselves, with the hope that at the end of the day, that person will still be in the house when they get back, and likewise, nothing has occurred. We've had a number of cases where people walk into my office and said, Nate, I need to enroll mom today, right now. And I'm asking why. Well, I just got a call earlier today from the police department. The fireman had to come in and kick our door in. Mom turned the microwave on and put it on 60 minutes versus 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Microwave exploded. Fire started. She's downstairs, has no clue. And obviously, she could have easily died. My home would have went up in smoke. I would have been in financial straits.
Yeah.
I need to make sure she's safe, she's secure, and likewise her needs are met. That's what we do.
Right. And some residents or some seniors, not a large percentage, could have wandering potential issues, and that would assure them that they're not going to wander if they're at your location as opposed to being isolated in a house.
That's very true. And I tell you what, wandering is a biggie. Oftentimes we see in the newspapers or on television adults with dementia who's gotten out of a facility, wandered, gotten lost. Some were recovered after many hours of wandering on the streets. Others did not. They simply expired. Well, we are very fortunate again. We have a great, great security system in our program. No one can exit without we simply opening doors or simply pushing certain buttons. But I've had the case again where when our old adults come in, I always give them a business card. They like to retain stuff, put it in their pocket, whatever. And I never forget the case where we had an adult, one of our old adults who on a Saturday of all days, and I'm normally not in the office on Saturday, but this particular woman was able to get out of the house of her daughter. Daughter fell asleep on the couch, had no idea mom was gone.
Yeah.
Mom wandered down to Harris Teeter. And thank God someone noticed this woman who was in the store shopping and simply trying to exit the store, but had no clue as to what was going on. She was just wandering, picking up items and walking out the store. And this woman approached her, engaged her, realized there was something abnormal. Fortunate for this particular lady, she had my business card on her. They called me from Harris Teeter, which was quite a distance from her home, and said, Nate, we have someone here with your card and you in the adult daycare program business. Do you know this lady? Yes, I did. I was able to simply not only contact her daughter, but we were able to retrieve this particular older woman with Alzheimer's from this particular store, get her back into her home safely, and likewise start a plan to make sure she would be taken care of. But again, wandering is a big issue. And that does happen with Alzheimer's and dementia, but there are programs in place that can simply help caregivers. And in this particular lady's case, her daughter was not only made more aware of the safety features to employ in a home, but likewise make sure mother was at our program as long as possible during the week while she worked.
But with the social interaction that you have at your community, it's even less likely that they're going to want to wander.
Absolutely.
Right?
Here's a typical day. Our participants come in, and we call them participants because they participate in life. They come in the morning typically between 7 and 9. Between 7 and 9, they're having their breakfast. Many are getting their morning showers because we do a lot of bathing there too, trying to address all the needs because a number of our caregivers have to go to work early in the morning. They don't have time to bathe mom and dad, so we do that. And of course, they're getting their breakfast. And at 9 o'clock, the formal program starts. We have a full-blown devotional. These good people told me 22 years ago when we first started, Nate, if we're going to do this right, we need to get God involved. So every morning we have a full-blown devotional from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. where these older guys set the stage. They sing the old-fashioned gospel songs. They read the scriptures from large print books. They pray. At 10 o'clock, one of the older guys closes in prayer, and then we start aerobics for everyone, regardless of whether they're in wheelchairs or not. From 10 to 10:30, we're doing wheelchair aerobics. We're doing armchair aerobics. We're doing stand-up aerobics, having fun. Again, my background is that of a registered nurse, so I want to make sure blood continues to flow We head off seizures, TIAs, and stop those things from occurring.
Right.
From 10:30 till 12, we have a number of volunteers from our community coming to the program and put on shows and singing, dancing, arts and craft, those kinds of things. We learned a long time ago, we can't always take these good people to the community, so we bring the community to them.
Yeah.
And consequently, with that kind of activity going on, that kind of group interaction, that kind of socialization, there's no time or any kind of dead time. Therefore, there's no wandering and so forth, because these people are both physically and socially as well as mentally engaged. 12 to 1, we have hot lunch. Again, very fortunate. Our meals are catered through Friendship Trades. Great program. Diet-specific meals, hot meals, freshly prepared. They even have a licensed dietitian on staff, so we can make sure we're getting good stuff.
Right.
From 1 to 2, their stomach is full, so we do a lot of the mind challenge games, a lot of the trivia, a lot of the remember wins, a lot of the puzzles and word games. Again, you find out that these good people can contribute big time if you give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
They may have short-term memory loss, but their long-term memory is great. We can talk about what happened in 1945, what happened in 1936.
In detail.
In detail, and these guys are right on point. My oldest right now is 101.
Wow.
My youngest is 23. And I have everything in between, and they all get along real well. It's a level playing field.
Yeah.
From 2 to 3, we do some fun stuff like bingo or some type of sporting events, indoor sports. They love the competition. They love the engagement. And again, we're talking about an extended family. These people who were isolated now have friends, people to look forward to seeing every day, and they have something to talk about.
Yeah.
From 3 to 3:30, we have current events. It's amazing. I still subscribe to the newspaper. I bring it out every day, and we talk about what's going on in the world today.
Yeah.
And again, it's amazing what they can contribute if you give them the opportunity.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be frank, at 3:30, I've lost my group integrity. A lot of these folks are going home. They're tired. I ran them hard all day long. They're not going to do anything else. So I let them relax. They can simply hang out and look at some TV or play some games, do whatever they want to do, because within an hour or two, everybody's gone. And the next day, we start the same program all over again with different volunteers, different programs, different services.
Wow.
I'm excited about one thing that happens every month. The last Tuesday of every month at 1 o'clock, Coca-Cola Bottling Company sends in a number of volunteers. Mr. Frank Harrison, the president, he locked in on this program some 22 years ago, made a commitment to simply do his best to engage and help serve the needs of this special population.
Wow.
So for 22 years, this man has been sending volunteers down to Blessed Assurance every week. And on the last Tuesday of every month, he throws a birthday party for everyone who's had a birthday in that month.
Really?
So every month, there's a birthday party, there's cake, there's certificates, there's all kinds of little prizes given these people. Mom and dad is valued. They're made to be the VIP they are. They go home with their certificates. They can tell their caregivers, look here, what I have, what I've done, I'm participating in life, I'm still valued. Someone realized my worth.
Yes.
I have to give a shout out to Mr. Frank Harrison, Coca-Cola. You guys been knocking it out of the park for the last 22 years.
22 years.
22 years. And I tell you what, it's going strong.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you just touched base on something I think that is critical, and that is seniors they feel comfortable that they're making a contribution and they're doing something and they're being respected for that. Isn't that a major issue with
that? Is a major issue because, again, just because someone's gotten old doesn't mean they should be forgotten.
Right.
Doesn't mean they shouldn't be respected. I strongly believe we are where we at today by standing on the shoulders of these older adults.
Yes.
I mean, I've had people in my program who have been state representatives.
Yeah.
We've had all types of public figures of other different positions, school teachers. Had one gentleman who worked at Cape Canaveral as a scientist. I've had local celebrities. We've had all people of all walks of life, wealthy folks. But here's the irony. When you contract a disease such as Alzheimer's or dementia, your social status means nothing.
That's right. Yeah.
Your demographics mean nothing.
Yeah.
All you want is someone to treat you with decency and respect,
Yeah.
show the love of God, meet your life-sustaining needs, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And we have been fortunate to be able to serve 5 area counties, thank God to I-485, and a host of people relocating from different states throughout the United States via the internet. And now we also attracting people internationally because a lot of our international friends come to the United States to visit relatives during the holidays, and they simply spend time with us.
Yeah.
So again, it's been amazing, but to respect our older adults is a big deal, and that's why I'm proud to say I'm the poster child for old people. Don't have a problem with that. Don't have a problem with that at all. I was raised by my grandparents. Those guys made some serious sacrifices. Where I am today because of them.
Yeah. Sacrifices that our generation, I mean, you're talking about wars. Vietnam War, we can't relate to.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of wars, we have about 15 veterans in our program. I've had veterans from World War II. I currently have a number of veterans from the Vietnam War, the Korean War, so forth. And I'm excited about the fact that the VA is paying for our veterans to come to the adult day program.
Yes.
They are not only paying for the service that they get during the day, to include bathing, but also transportation. So if there's a disabled vet out there who's sitting at home doing nothing, you need to know that is over. The help is available. All you need to do is contact me, Nate Huggins, Blessed Assurance Adult Daycare. My telephone number, 704-576-4754. That's 704-576-4754. Nate Huggins, Blessed Assurance Adult Day and Healthcare Services.
Which is located in Matthews.
Located in Matthews.
Okay.
And in fact, let me make a correction here. We actually located physically in Mint Hill, but we have a Matthews address. And the only thing that separates Matthews from Mint Hill as to where we're located is a street called Ottawa Road. So we're on the left side of Ottawa Road. Have we been on the right side, we'd be in Matthews. But nonetheless, we started in Matthews some 22 years ago. We moved to Mint Hill in 2014. And again, we're still serving both communities.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's very huge.
I mean, it's so important, like you say, to not only the participants that are coming in, but the family members that get that break. That's so important. And no dishonor for wanting or needing that break, because if you don't recharge as a caregiver and be able to do other common things that you need to get done, what good are you going to be towards that participant that then goes home at night?
You're absolutely correct. Caregiver burnout is one of the biggest challenges we have right now. I often tell our caregivers, get your mom and dad in here with me, let them stay all day long, and while they're here, you get recharged.
Yeah.
Establish a lifestyle, go to lunch with friends, join the Y, whatever you need to do, because again, you need to maintain your health and strength. And ironically, our caregivers now are not the 55, 65-year-old. Our caregivers are typically the 30-year-old adult who started a family, trying to raise their own children, trying to maintain their marriage as well as maintain a job. So our caregivers now are relatively young people.
Yeah.
And many of them will tell you they had no idea they would be inheriting their mom and dad and providing care to them when they're trying to simply raise their own children. So you're absolutely correct. Caregiver burnout, caregiver stress is a major problem, and we are trying to address that. And I will say this, there are some programs in the community that helps. Again, all you need to do is contact me, caregivers, whether you have funds or not. Let me address the funding issue. Let me help find ways to simply provide a solution to the problem, because there is help in the community.
Yeah.
Many people just don't know how to get that help. Give me a call, I can help you out.
Yeah, I think that's very key, because Nate's been in this business for many, many, many years, and he's well respected within the senior community, which is a smaller group, but growing as the elderly population grows in the Charlotte area. But if you make a phone call, and even if Nate couldn't help you with adult daycare, but let's say you needed home care at night, or you needed DME equipment, Nate is a prime example of somebody that can, even if he can't help you with your particular need of adult daycare, he can send you in the right direction where to go.
That's very true. Having been in the community for 22 years providing the adult day program, I've developed a lot of relationships with a lot of different other resources. And I tell you what, I will never, ever tell one of my caregivers there's no help out there. There's always help.
Yeah.
And in fact, in many cases, when caregivers come to see me, I take care of all the preliminary paperwork. I make all the phone calls. I simply put you in touch with people who can help you. Again, be it a home health care agency, DME equipment. I've even had people who came from other states that were accustomed to special services that's only rendered through the mental health arena, I've been able to refer them to those good people too.
Yeah.
Let me say this. Our stats have reflected that in 2030, just 10 years from now, there will be well over 205,000 adults age 65 and older within Mecklenburg County alone.
Yeah.
205,000 who will need sources or help such as the Adult Day program and other special programs.
Yeah.
So the population is growing. The need is there. Again, if you don't know how to get help, please give me a call.
Correct. I mean, point them in the right direction. Now, let's talk about that without going into specifics of amounts, but what type of payment sources would help pay for adult daycare in general?
There's a wide variety.
Okay.
First of all, a lot of our adults have what's called long-term care insurance, and they don't realize if you don't use that program, you lose it. It's just like car insurance. It pays for adult day program. As mentioned earlier, the Veteran Administration pays for it. If you're a veteran, the VA pays for it. Mecklenburg County has a program called Home and Community Block Grants that pays for the service too.
Really?
And I've even had some of the private insurance companies, because they realize it's least costly to simply pay for it through an insurance program, such as workers' comp, versus having to have someone be administered to an institution such as a nursing home or get skilled care.
Yeah.
And of course, you always have private pay. So there's a lot of different pay sources out there. And I've even partnered with churches and other organizations to simply underwrite the cost, because as a nonprofit, I can make a contribution too.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you need help, give me a call. There's help out there.
On the and just so I'm clear too, though, Medicare does not pay for this type of service, right?
Unfortunately, Medicare does not pay for it. Medicaid, under a provision called CAP Medicaid, and that's through our Mecklenburg County Health Department, can pay for the service too.
Right.
But Medicare does not pay for it. But if you have Medicaid and qualify for a program called CAP Medicaid, you can get help through that facility, through that program. And I call it the Cadillac program in the county, because it not only pays for the day program services, but it pays for transportation. It pays for specialty items such as Pampers, Insure, and other things you may need.
Even home care at night if they needed it when they go home.
Absolutely. Pays for home care.
Yeah. And so let's touch base a little bit on long-term care insurance. Not everybody has it, but it certainly is a growing area. And it's something that I've seen too often, maybe you've seen too, where in home care, which also it pays for, long-term care insurance, people sometimes forget that they have it and they don't check. And we're a year into providing services only for a daughter to wake up and say, wait a minute, don't you have, Mom, you have long-term care insurance? So it's probably behooving of the family to check into this immediately.
Immediately. I tell caregivers, pull out every insurance policy you have.
Yeah.
Call the agent. And if you have a problem with doing that, bring the policy to me.
Yep.
I have routinely gone through the policy, called the agent, got these good people set up to simply take advantage of the benefits that the policy offers. As mentioned earlier, many of these guys have been paying for this stuff for 20, 30, 40 years. Mm-hmm. And I had one family member who realized that she had this policy after talking with me, finally engaged her insurance company. She had a 90-day waiting period.
Right.
She'd paid several $100,000 into this thing. Her husband got up to about 80 days and expired. The insurance company paid her absolutely nothing. All the money invested went down the drain because she did not take advantage of the policy.
Yeah.
And a lot of our caregivers saying, well, Nate, I don't know, I may need it later. Well, in her case, later never arrived.
Yeah. That's an excellent point, I think, that you mentioned. I've heard too many times seniors say, well, I have long-term care insurance or I have private funds, but I'm saving it for a rainy day. Trust me, if they're starting to look at home care or adult daycare, I'm not going to say it's a rainy day, but if they have the insurance and they have the funds, the worst thing that happens in the world is that they never use an insurance policy that they've been paying for years.
For years.
Yeah.
For years. And I tell you what, I see that often, but again, when I meet someone, I start qualifying them.
Yeah.
Tell me exactly what do you have, here are the different options available, and oftentimes we identify, yes, I have that. Mm-hmm. Well, let's use it. Don't save it, let's use it right now.
And oftentimes, and I'm become very familiar with long-term care insurance because of what I've done in the past, long-term care insurance companies will not, it's like a double whammy. Not only if you get qualified to use it, which you've been paying premiums for years, but oftentimes the long-term care insurance companies, once you start using the benefit, you don't have to pay the premiums anymore.
Exactly. And again, if you have a policy and not aware of the benefits or the provisions of the policy, then you may be taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
And consequently, as one guy say, you leave money on the table.
Yeah.
But again, if that policy is going to pay you several $100s a day for the service,
Right.
you've earned that.
Yep.
They're not giving you anything. And consequently, those are dollars that can be used to address the physical, mental, and social need of your loved one and alleviate the stress that you incurring every day by trying to simply be a great provider.
Yes, and like you mentioned earlier about puzzles, interaction, social interaction with other seniors as well as the caregivers and the nurses, but that is critical to not only enrich the lives of the seniors as they age in place, but it also, in many cases, will allow them to live longer.
Absolutely. Have this case where a local resident of Matthews brought her mother in. This particular lady was 98 years old. Daughter shared with me this was mom's last leg. She felt that she may not live long. This lady lived to be 102 because, again, she found a reason to thrive. She was among people her own age who was participating in life, who simply seen something other than the four walls of their home every day.
Right.
And so consequently, the socialization simply inspired her to simply live.
Yeah.
And mother lived till, again, well over 100 years of age, and it surprised the daughter. But again, it also opened our eyes to the fact that treat these people with dignity and respect, even if it appears to be the last day, and watch what God do in their life.
Yes, and it is amazing. That interaction sometimes can be life-changing for a senior to be with other seniors, to do activities or just reminisce about old times that they would never get if they were in their own private residence.
That's very true. That's very true. And I tell you what, it's a sad thing to see the potential being wasted.
Yes.
Someone who simply have done so much for this community to now suddenly be cast aside only to waste away. And we don't want that to happen.
Excellent point, and I really appreciate you coming on board to explain what adult daycares are to our seniors and their families. I want to thank everybody that's tuned in tonight for Aging with Attitude. I want you to come back again and check us out, Channel 21. Have a pleasant evening.